Love it has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and there are don't dictate.
Well, very good afternoon to you, and welcome to Xandermonium, the talk show that gets you talking. I'm Xander Gibb,
Hi, and I'm Tyhe Egar.
and on today's show, if the teleprompter ever works properly, we will be breaking down this week's hottest topics, and we will be joined in part two by, hopefully, when the teleprompter starts to work again. This is the beauty of live radio. The author of Nazi Sniper, Salem Kapsevsky, dropped by for a chat about his debut novella, which is called Nazi Sniper. More to come in a mere moment. We have liftoff with teleprompter. Today's show is dedicated to Ladarius Wiley, an 11-year-old boy who pushed his sister out of the way of an oncoming car, which then struck and killed him. May you rest in peace and rise in glory. Well, you can interact with us during the show today in the chat room at the bottom of the show page. You can call us on 347-884-9061. That's 347-884-9061. Or on Twitter, you can tweet us. My Twitter handle is at Xandergibb, Xandergibb. You can tweet Ty. His Twitter handle is at Tyhe Paul Egar, TYHEPAULEGAR, capital T, capital P, capital E. And you can tweet Sal. His Twitter handle is at Salem Kapsevsky, SALEM_KAPSASKI. All of the information is on Xandermonium Xandergibb.com/radio. All of the information is there. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties today, so please bear with us. Tweet me if you're too shy or Ty, and we will make your point for you. Now, there's still time to vote in this week's poll at xandergibb.com. The debate goes on, which is best, Mac or PC? You decide. What do you think? Go to xandergibb.com and place your vote. And I promise you we'll try and give you the results before the end of the show. You can also call us about anything else you want to get off your chest. 347-884-9061. So, Ty, you're firmly a PC guy, and you won't even entertain an iPhone. How so?
Well, because I don't like crapple. I think
You don't like what?
They're really crapple. That's what I call them now.
Crapple.
Crapple. Apple.
Oh,
yeah,
as an apple. Right. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
You're really not with it tonight, are you? Have you just woken up? Have you been sleeping? Did somebody find
No, I'm
desk?
totally with it, but I'm just several seconds behind because I'm getting the teleprompter and everything working, so I'm
Okay.
running on automatic. Crapple, yes, as in apple. I get it. I had Snapple in my brain for some reason. and Lily Savage saying Oasis, open, pour, be yourself once more. Anyway, carry on. You're not a fan.
No, I'm not, because I think Kathy's in the chat room. Because I think they're really antisocial and they're really greedy. And what I mean by antisocial is their software will not work with anybody else's. It won't bond with anybody else's, and there's no reason for that. There's no need for that. It's just greed, and that brings me to the greed part. It's just greed, and They're constantly updating their software, which you think, oh, that's great. It means they're always up to date. What it actually means is you are constantly chasing their software, so you're always either paying or having to constantly update your software. And then what it means is they change for example, they change the connection and their charger. Yeah, so now you have the flash charger, but that meant that all the other, so for example, if you want to connect your iPod to an old stereo, it was the 25 pin.
Stereo?
Flash
You're
pin.
showing your age now, Tyhe.
Whatever. But you know what I mean. People know what I mean.
Do you mean the wireless?
Yeah. Well, no, not the wireless. I mean, even just the connectors. People know what I'm saying, Xander.
Right.
Shut your face. But now it's the flash. Now it's the flash connector, which is the tiny little pin. But hey, guys, that's okay. You can buy our new connector. Now I don't know. I mean, for $30 or for £25, that's what it cost me to buy, because I still have an iPod Touch, and the only reason I have that is for I've forgotten the name of it now. For streaming, for porn. Why would I listen to porn? For streaming music, and that's the only reason I have it.
Right.
Because so they rip people off constantly, as far as I'm concerned, and their technology is not that clever anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, as you know, I've said before on the show, I love Samsung technology. It's better. I love Android far better than Apple. As far as an Apple phone, I used to have one. I would never consider having one again. I have never enjoyed technology so much since I started using Samsung Android. I have a Galaxy 6 Edge, and if you're thinking of changing phones, I cannot recommend it enough. Not only is it a thing of beauty to use, ergonomically it's beautiful, but there's no pointless gimmicks on it. Everything's there for a reason, and it's just beautiful. And guess what, folks? It will bond with other technologies simply and easily, and it's just you don't have to buy ridiculous little bits of technology to bond it with other things. So yeah,
well, there you go. We're not getting any endorsement fees tonight, Tyhe. You do realize that, don't you? You're not going to get a free Galaxy phone for this.
However, if Samsung are listening, my 3D TV is now 5 years old.
You have a 3D TV too. I think you're getting paid too much to work on this show, Tyhe. I really do. So should we get to some hot topics and discuss one of Kathy and Joe's favorite people first of all, shall we?
I think Kathy and Joe are smashed. Looking at what's going on in this chat room, I think they're
I know. But, what are you smoking, ladies, and why aren't you sharing it around? Okay, so our first story, Donald Trump, who is not everyone's favorite GOP candidate, says the shocking, profane, and political ad featuring a foul-mouthed Latino kids personally bashing him in a recent video is a terrible disgrace. I'm sorry, I have to do something with this teleprompter. It's neither use nor ornament. And critics who are calling the video abusive and disgusting. Now, the 2-minute political ad produced by DeportRacism.com, a Democratic political action committee, features young Hispanic children calling Trump a racist and profanity-laced tirade. Now, the political attack ad shows young kids saying, F you, you racist. And one young child says to Trump while holding up a middle finger. 2 children go on to say, yo, Trump, you may be high in the polls. Thanks to the pinches, a racist sucker, but you're all going to have to come through me if you try and deport my abuelita, mother effer. I'm not sure what abuelita is, but I'm sure someone might ring in and tell us. Anybody that would allow their children to do an ad like this is honestly concerning. Now, I have to say that whilst I'm not fond of Trump or his generalizations or all of his policies regarding those who are illegal and from south of the border, now this is a disturbing response to say the least. Now, whilst on the other hand his stance is hardly politically correct, involving kids in this way is rather disturbing, to say the least. Now, have you seen this video yet, Tyhe? And what say you?
I haven't. I didn't get a chance to see it, but to be honest, just listening to you describe it and listening to other people's reactions, I don't think I want to. I don't think there's any need to, and I hope other people do. Yeah, I mean, if you're because I agree with you. If you think it's clever to teach your children to speak that way, then honestly, I would child service. You shouldn't be surprised if child services do knock on your door, and what you're doing is actually educating your children to become that stereotype that racist idiots like Trump are talking about. So you're playing into his hands and teaching. You should be educating your children, and that's not education. That's devolution. So I think it's a really, really sad statement to be making, because the man, I think his comments are racist. I don't care if you call them stereotypical. He's talking about a very specific area of the world and a very specific race of people. So if that isn't racism, what is? Somebody explain to me if that's not racist. So for them then to respond in that way, they're responding in a way he's pigeonholing and teaching children to swear like that and use language like that, and also, but that whole stereotype, isn't it? That whole demeanour is again creating a stereotype, creating a ghetto mentality, and those kids think that they're doing right. So what is their education? So what's that saying about their progress and their education and their growth as people? So I think the parents really should be thinking very hard about what they're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I talked about this on another show last night. I appear on another show on a Friday night called The Real Side, and we discussed this topic. Now, some of the comments that I made were on Twitter last night, and someone came back at me and said, someone who was a Democrat said, Xander, how is this any different to getting kids to hold up posters about abortion? And whatever your opinions on abortion, and I'm not going to go into that today because that's a separate issue as far as I'm concerned, I still object to using kids in this way because it's really a concern. And whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, don't involve kids in your retort or your response, however you wanna put it, because to me, if you see the thing is, we talked about this before the show, and you said, what if it was any of those kids' opinion? Those kids are like 6 and 7 years old. How many kids are going to have that kind of opinion? But I think what we have to look at as well here is the content of Trump's commentary on what he has actually said, because he's not my first choice, definitely not, and a lot of the things that he says and does, I'm really not, I can't hold truck with, but one of my biggest bugbears, wrong teeth in today as well, is generalizations, because you can't say every Mexican is this. You can't say every Mexican is that. You can't say every black person is this or every gay person is that, because it's just not true. And even if you have 10 Mexicans standing in front of you and they all slap you across the face, it doesn't mean every Mexican will slap you across the face. I just can't abide generalizations, Tyhe. I really can't.
No, absolutely not. But that's the problem. What they're doing by doing what when I say they, what these parents are doing, teaching their children on this specific video to do this, are doing that. They are generalizing themselves. They're marginalizing themselves as well, and they're playing into the hands of the people they think they are that they're coming back on. If that makes sense. Is that English? And I think that's an unfortunate thing. It's a sad thing, because it's not really, it's not addressing the issue, and it's not making a statement that they think. Well, if they think they're making that statement, then they're mistaken. They're playing into his hands, because he's just going to play that video and say, see what I mean? This is what we're up against. It's what I would do anyway. And as you know, I'm very good at marketing and PR. I certainly would turn around and say, well, see, this is exactly what I mean. This is my point. Look at this behavior.
Well, it's kind of like the ideology about fighting fire with fire. Yes, I'm all for that, but the fire that you fight the fire with has to be appropriate fire. And two wrongs really don't make a right. And I'm rather concerned. I'm concerned at some of his comments, but I'm even more concerned at this kind of level of response of using kids, because what next? Yeah, you know.
Well, absolutely.
What are they going to do next?
Of course, and I agree with you, but this who's going to do? But who knows who these kids are though? What is the response going to be? Is somebody going to respond to those parents? Because I'm assuming as I say, I haven't seen the video. I'm assuming you can see the faces of these children.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I just shared the
right.
link. I'm just sharing the link again on Twitter,
so
people can.
In the chat room. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to play it on the show because it is so profane. But I think that in order for people to kind of make their own mind up about it, I think they should be able to look at it themselves, you know.
Absolutely, but I would hope though that that people would see that. Because the response then should be that the intervention, shouldn't it be, from other family members? Because what we don't know is, do you know what I mean? Is this older brothers and sisters that have got them to do this, or is it parents? But somebody needs to find that out, and that kind of action needs to be taken. Because you're right, if it's so sensitive and so violent, because at the end of the day, that's aggression, and those kids don't want, we shouldn't be left thinking that kind of behaviour is acceptable, because the problem is also as well, again, and I'm stereotyping now, but what concerns me is that kind of gang mentality as well. Is that education coming down from a gang mentality? Is that playing into the hands of people that would lead these kids in a certain direction as well? Because people like Trump sit in their golden towers and have no idea the repercussions of what they say. They don't care either. But unfortunately, it works from the other direction.
You're absolutely right. And I go on. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. I was just going to say, that it traps the rest of us in the middle, and we end up fighting each other rather than the battle that we should be fighting.
It does, because what this does is it makes it circular, and I think that Donald Trump's ideology is kind of, he's this New York brash businessman, and his whole aim is to shock people. And America does need real change. It absolutely does. But I'm not sure that alienating sections of the community in your commentary is the best way to do it. Yeah, some people who are in the country illegally have committed crime, but some American citizens have done exactly the same thing. So let's kind of keep this balance, because for me, I would never want my commentary to promote violence towards others, and scarily enough, this is kind of what it's doing, and it's making it very circular with this level of response. I don't like the level of response that's happened, but I can see why people are angry. I really can.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, that's the problem. Now we're all focusing on these kids, and you're quite right. I'm not taking away from that. There should not have, somebody needs to intervene on who has taught these kids to behave this way. But the problem is we're focusing now on these kids who have retaliated at what he said, and not focusing on the problem. The problem is what's going on in the middle. You know what I mean? What he's attacking. He's talking about immigration and racism. Do you know what I mean? Because people are now walking away from that. What he said and what is going on, we're no longer talking about that. We're talking about these kids. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what concerns me. And I don't just mean you and me. You and I. I mean what's going on now in the bigger picture. That's going to be used to take away from his behaviour and the behaviours of what's going on behind it all. I sit in a very paranoid state at the moment about the world, because I do think we're on the way to apocalypse. I think we're on the way to apocalypse, ladies and gentlemen, and we're not paying attention, we're not listening to what's happening, and we're all being filed into little boxes, and we're being filed into little boxes very, very efficiently.
Right. I definitely think you're absolutely right. It would be very easy for this to topple, but I think we've been here before. But I actually think part of the problem is that some people are not interested in actually making the world a better place. And I'm not saying anyone in particular, but I think that they're more interested in feathering their own nest, and that is a concern to me, because we really need to. The world is in such a bad state right now that if we don't start to do something positive, and you know, I've seen a lot on Facebook today about people actually, you know, trying to do good things and forgetting about the differences, because that's what's dividing us. I think the thing that is dividing us most is that people are looking at what we don't have in common rather than what we do. And I've had this ideology for a long time that the only thing that's going to begin to make America a better place again is that when we forget about all of that and we start to work from a base of what we do actually have in common, because we're not going to agree on everything. I mean, you and I have been friends for 25 years, and we still don't agree on everything. And, you know, we've disagreed publicly about stuff, and people have said, "Oh, are you and Tyhe not friends anymore?" And it's ridiculous. You know, we're both adults, and we can disagree without hating each other or falling out. And so there you go, people. It is possible to do that. And we both have very strong opinions about things, you know, hence being on this show. But we don't have to always agree, do we, Tyhe?
No, absolutely. But I think that's the problem, and what's happening worldwide is that we keep calling them the powers that be, but the spin doctors and the people that the controllers, and we are controlled, and we're controlled very, very well, consumers particularly, have got us all spinning our heads so quickly now that that we don't know what's going on, and by the time we do find out what's going on, it's too late. And I'm sorry, Berger, somebody, the chat room, that's a really long sentence.
Yeah,
I'll read it in a minute. I can't multitask.
I saw that.
To that in a second.
I totally saw that too. Go on.
But we are distracted very easily, and then when we realise what's happened, it's too late. We kind of go, hang on, how did this happen? What went on there? When did I miss that? And we missed it because we're too busy paying attention to something that happened in the middle. And the person that was telling us what was going to happen, we've been distracted from. And it's happening in the UK, it's happening in America, it's happening in Australia, it's happening everywhere. And we're missing these things in the middle. We're being dragged backwards into the future, which is, you know, Laurie Anderson wrote a song a long time ago, which said that history is an angel being blown backwards into the future. And I always thought it was a very profound line, but it's true. We miss these things because we're so easily distracted. And Berg, you don't have to forgive you. We're going to read things. Just stay with us. I'm going to blow your mind even further now, Tyhe. I'm sorry. Go on. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say I'm going to blow your mind even further now. I think that that's part of the plan, that they want to distract us while they're doing these things, while they're taking away our rights, while they're doing things to change the way we live to a kind of proportion that it's too late to change it. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do actually think that is part of the plan. Would you agree? Would you disagree?
No, I agree completely. Conspiracy theorists now are becoming. I think we should become less skeptical about conspiracy theorists and start listening to a few of them. It's because I think I'm becoming one. I'm definitely.
I think you're absolutely fine, love, because I feel the same. So it's not just you.
Because really, I'm listening now, and I'm listening to what's happening. I'm watching what's happening in Russia. I'm watching what's happening in the UK. And then I'm listening to what's happening in America. I mean, what's happening in America? I mean, police officers in America are losing their minds, apparently. But when you pay attention, it's only a handful. But if you listen to the media and Facebook, I mean, what is Facebook about now? You can be a Nazi, you can be a paedophile, but you can't be a drag queen. You can.
Yeah.
Do you know? I mean,
Facebook is it.
What's happening?
Facebook has turned into a police state, and even for people that are trying to use it appropriately, they're getting hassle. I'm not allowed to post 2 events a week because I'm abusing the facility, but you can have a page on there that says kill all police and kill all Jews and kill all gays. So you can't post 2 events a week, if you're a TV and radio host, but you can have a page out there that calls for the killing of certain sections of the community. I'm sick of Facebook, and I really cannot wait for the next thing to come along that will take us away. Like everybody was on MySpace, and MySpace thought they were untouchable, but we're not.
No, well, exactly. And I keep saying it, but I'm working on it. The thing to do, is once you have an idea, the problem is once you have this idea, is then putting it together, because the technology, unfortunately, is huge, and it's getting the people that you need to work with you. So, because obviously I have this idea, we know what we want to do with it, but now I'm trying to find the people to work with me, the tech heads, basically, to do it, because it is doable. But having said that, everybody could go to Google+, but nobody can be bothered, and that's the problem.
Yes,
we cannot be bothered.
Absolutely.
We're too lazy. We want somebody to do it for us.
I just want a pizza and some beer, and I want someone to bring it round.
But that's the problem, isn't it? We do.
But that is.
It's like, but it is. And when we talk, we talk about health and fitness. And I was talking to somebody at work the other day, and as people who don't know now, I'm a personal trainer, to one string to my many bows. But who wants to now buy some ridiculous fad diet that's supposed to be a cleanse? It could potentially cause heart failure and kidney damage. But she said, but I'm only going to do it once, and then I'll go to the gym. Well, go to the gym now. But that's just an analogy I'm using. You know what I mean? Why not go to the gym now and save yourself that? Well, exactly. I'll go later. We want to do we want something now. We want to do it quickly now, and then we'll do the proper thing later. And that's the problem.
But that's how we've become. But let me put on my moderator's hat for a moment, because we have to watch the time, because we have a guest. But I want you to tell us about what you've brought along for us today, because I think it's very interesting.
I wanted to, and I've got to say to Mitch, we need to get you back on another show, because we've kind of got things planned for today. But I did want to,
definitely,
because we would love to talk about what you're asking us to talk about, because that was one of the things. There's a huge campaign going on in Glasgow, where I'm based at the minute. But I did want to just kind of briefly mention this. Yes, Louis Gohmert, or Gohmert, well, however you want to pronounce it. Yes, was this congressman talking about talking about equal marriage, right? Okay, so and saying that if we stuck 2 men on an island for 100 years and 2 women on an island for 100 years, and came back and let's see whether they'd be extinct or not, because he was talking about equal marriage, and of course, clearly he doesn't like gay people and lesbians,
right?
And he's fighting for heterosexual marriage, and I just thought it was a little bit ridiculous. I thought, really, because also I noticed as well people talking about us saying, "Oh, you'll get caught in the gay lifestyle, or you'll catch this as a gay." So they seem to be talking about.
I caught my stiletto heel in it once, and it was painful.
Well, but what concerned me, kind of made me smile, but also what concerned me was like we're talking about us again like we're a contagion, or we're wrong, or we're going to make things sick or ill. But my thoughts when he said that was, well, that's stupid, because of course if you stuck 2 men, be gay or straight, on an island on their own and came back after 100 years, of course they would die out. If you stuck 2 women of course they would die. But if you stuck a straight couple who were barren on an island on their own for 100 years, when you came back, they would have died out. So what exactly is your point? So what we're saying is then, if your objection is that 2 men can't have a child and 2 women can't have a child, therefore they are not natural, is the inference then well, if you are a straight woman and you are not fertile, and if you're a straight man and you are not fertile, then surely by the same grounds you are not naturally balanced on the planet, so you can be eradicated too, because nature has seen fit to make you obsolete. Where's your argument with that? This is what concerns me, because that's my argument back to him.
Right. I mean, there are so many issues with that statement. I really think he realizes what a silly statement he's made. But one of the things I want to point out, and I think it's imperative to do so, is that this guy, from what I gather, and I might be totally wrong, feel free to ring in and tell me, 347-884-9061. This guy, and we tend to do it. We tend to do it unconsciously. One of the statements that you said was about him being anti-gay or not liking gay people, and his ideology is that because he's a Christian, he doesn't feel that two people of the same sex should be married, which is perfectly his right to think that. But the question is, does that make him a hater or does it make him anti-gay? No, but it makes him very stupid when he makes statements about putting all gay people on an island. But I'm just conscious that I want to make the division that just because someone of faith does not agree with gay marriage, it doesn't change it one iota. But we shouldn't hate them for that, because I think that makes us just as bad or even worse. But that doesn't stop me going to my town hall tomorrow and marrying someone of the same sex. The fact that this guy doesn't agree with same-sex marriage for whatever reason doesn't change the fact that people in the United States and in the UK of the same sex can get married.
No, but also, I see where you're going with this. But I have no, listen, if you don't like gay people, I don't care. But where you're going with that is, okay, if you don't like gay people, if you object to gay marriage, two things, right? Don't hang around with gay people, don't come to a gay wedding, okay? But you have no right to stop me getting married, and you have no right to stand in my way as a human being. Because when it comes to asking for equal rights, screw you. Who is it that has the right to take my rights away? What makes me less equal to you as a human being? Nothing is the answer to that, by the way. I'll save you some time right there thinking about it. Nothing.
I don't disagree with that.
To anybody on this planet. And if you have religious beliefs, that's fine. But you do not, under any circumstances, bring those beliefs to work unless you're a priest. I'm not interested, Xander. You leave those behind you. You leave them in your handbag. You leave them in your at home. You leave them at work. You do not bring them to work. If you find yourself in your workplace and your religious views conflict with your working progress, then you find another job. You do not enforce your religious beliefs on other people.
Oh, you had to go there, Tyhe, didn't you?
I did.
You had to go there, didn't you?
You were trying to take me, and I'm
that wasn't
go there.
No, definitely. I wasn't even thinking of the Kim Davis situation. I really wasn't. But let's just analyze that for a minute, because I've had a lot of stake. Apparently, I'm homophobic, and I'm obviously openly gay, and have been since I don't know when. So I don't know how, if you're gay, you can be homophobic. But because this is what I said. This was my point of view about Kim Davis. I think she's been very silly, and I think she's definitely what?
I didn't mention a name.
well, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying any of this to glorify her. She is someone who has an ideology that gay marriage is wrong, and she's an elected official. And for long enough, I said that I felt that elected officials should get on with their job and shut their face or not do their job. But then I saw another side to this. Yes, Joe, I am gay. Ha ha. Joey's asking in the chat room if I'm gay. There is another side to this for me, and that's with reference to people being forced to do something that they don't want to do. Now, when this person first started doing that job, she was only employed, or she was only elected to marry opposite sex couples, men and women. And they changed her job without even consulting her. And she did say, she's just said that she did not want to issue those licenses. They refused to let her deputy, what's the word? Issue those licenses.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my brain just went off kilter for a second.
No, it's mine. It's all right. Yeah, mine did too.
And she said that she was happy for them to be issued, but not with her name on. But what really bothers me, Tyhe, about all of this is we've worked for equality for 25 years or longer, but I've never worked for that, to force anybody to do something.
No, absolutely not. But the point is, it's not like it could have been a shock to her. Was she not watching the news worldwide? Did she not have a TV? You know, she's the elected official.
Right.
Right? So, what do you want me to say to that? She knew what was coming. She could have said, right, I can no longer do this job because it goes against my religious views. Now, you know what I'm going to throw back at you here as well, okay, as far as her religious views, because let's face it, her lifestyle, do me a favour, okay, let's not bother. So, again, this is a case of now my religious views fit my life. They might not have in the past, but hey, I've changed. I'm not interested, Xander. I'm really not interested. She knew what was coming. She absolutely knew what was coming. She could have said, do you know what? This is going to happen. I'm not going to be comfortable. I need to change jobs.
Right.
End of story.
I totally,
do you know what I mean?
I totally see that. But what I want you to acknowledge, Tyhe, and I'm sure that you can find it within yourself, because we've discussed this so many times. I want you to acknowledge the hate from the LGBTQ community about this was unnecessary. We can still marry people of the same sex, but the hate was just so unnecessary. Because if we as a community, if we as the LGBT community are saying, you know, it's intolerance and it's hate and it's this, by them being intolerant and hating because this woman is a Christian and she disagrees with us, we're just as bad. And that's really what bothers me about all of that.
Absolutely. And I don't ever encourage anybody to hate, but but she didn't exactly lie down and take it, did she? The Pope, for Christ's sake, was there. But no, and any gay person that says to me, you know, that I hate somebody, well, I would ask them why, and I will always say, well, let's be careful that we don't become what we fought against for so long, because that's never ever acceptable, and think about that very, very carefully. And yes, I agree with you completely, but I won't back down on what I've said as far as her attitude and the fact that she should have considered what was coming, because it wasn't like I woke up one morning and went, oh my God, can I get married? I mean, I knew it was coming.
No, definitely. But how about then that there's another point to this for me. How about her employer, knowing her feelings on the subject, made it possible for the deputy to issue those licenses with the deputy's name on. But why was that too hard? Why was that brain surgery? If she wasn't prepared to issue those licenses, you know?
Maybe because it's her role, because it's her job legally.
Right.
I don't know.
But it wasn't. It wasn't her job when she first signed up for it. Her job when she first signed up for it was to issue licenses to male and female couples, not same-sex couples. And that was her gripe, really.
Yeah. Well, that's a ridiculous gripe, isn't it? That's just stupid. Because before that, it wasn't legal. So of course her job was only to marry straight people. Gay people couldn't get married. So that's just that's just a stupid comment for her to make. My job was only to marry straight people. Well, of course it was, sweetie. Gay people couldn't get married. So if we'd gone back far enough in time, when she could only marry white people, would her argument then have been, well, I wasn't hired to marry black people?
Because, well, no, because her response is a biblical one. Whether we agree with it or not, her response is based on the fact that she believes that God does not bless same-sex unions, and so to be a part of it would be incorrect for her.
The Bible doesn't bless her lifestyle, her previous lifestyle. So what's her argument?
Oh, you mean because she was married before? Hey, I'm not arguing for her. I just want us to see all sides of it. Oh, you mean what's her argument?
No, absolutely.
I don't know. I wish she would come on. I would love her to come on the show and tell us a bit more in depth, because I think that I don't think she's said enough about why she's done it. She's only said that that's what she's going to do. Do you know what I mean? And for me,
I tell you what I did think was ridiculous was the Westboro the Westboro Baptist turning up and then heckling her. You were right. It is pronounced Bastard
Church, however it is spelled.
I know. But that to me was ridiculous. Although it was funny because she thought they turned up to support her, and then they obviously whipped out their cards and went, "No, you're an adulterer." But
that was pretty funny.
The most ridiculous. But it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I mean, if that is not the perfect reason to get rid of religion, I don't know what is. That to me, now there you go. Stick religion on an island and don't talk about it for 100 years, and let's see what happens.
I totally agree with you. I'm a Christian, and I don't believe what I practice is religion. I believe that my relationship with God is about faith. It's absolutely nothing to do with religion and doctrine, because for me, religion is about fear, but faith is about love. And that's the difference for me. And I don't think, knowing you as I do, you would condemn me for my faith. But if I was a religious zealot, you'd be the first one to kick my butt, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And there you are. I've just put something very controversial into the chat room.
I know.
I'm on one
but
tonight.
It's good.
It is. I don't care.
Here's the thing for me, Tyhe. When we start talking about these things, when we talk about issues that affect us as a society, it actually begins to make waves and starts. For things to change. Because if you don't discuss things, they never change. They really don't. I know we don't have the power to actually make a change, but, I just think that I think it's imperative to look at all sides of this. What about you?
Well, yeah, I'm all up for that, and as you know, of course I am. I don't want to hurt people, but I refuse to be hurt by turning away. I don't turn the other cheek. Screw that. Okay, I'm not the meek, but I don't want to hurt other people. It's not something I'm interested in, nor do I want to promote hurting other people.
No.
But I'm not going to sit and say, oh well, okay. So when somebody throws something at me, I'm going to pick it up and throw it back quite likely, or I'm going to throw something at my own back. And I'm just tired of these people hiding behind a faith. And I try and be nice about it. I do try and be nice about it. But on the other hand, I want to say, do you know what? It's time you grew up and started taking responsibility for your own actions. You can't behave appallingly and then say, oh, it says I can do that in the Bible, because the Bible was written by people. It wasn't written by a divine being. You can certainly say, I have faith that people believed this is a way to live, but when you read those words, nobody's living by those words. They're just taking little extracts and making it. They're not. They're bastardizing those words. What originally was it? You'd be hard pushed now to go into a store and buy the original translations of those words. Try and do it tomorrow. I bet you can't do it.
Say that again. Sorry.
Go into a store tomorrow and try and buy a Bible that was the original translation. That isn't like the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, or the 25th translation. I bet you can't do it.
Here's the thing for me, Ty. I've always believed that the Bible is kind of a bit like the highway code. It's a guide, but what you'll do is you'll absorb that.
Absolutely, but the problem is the people that are using it to tell you, again, we're talking about those people up there, the people who are using it to say, follow us, this is us guiding you, are not using it as a moral compass. They're using it as a weapon. And people, unfortunately, aren't educating themselves and standing up and saying, wait a minute, this can't be right. They're allowing it to happen again. Or people like Tim Davis are just blindly following on. So it depends where you want to take it. But this is what happens, unfortunately, and it does become a war. And it will become a war because people like myself won't lie down and play dead. But if people aren't willing to educate themselves, then they only have themselves to blame. And under no circumstances do I want to hurt another person, but I am not going to allow that person to hurt me. And I'm not going to allow words that are over 2,000 years old that have been corrupted so badly to be used as a weapon against me by people who are so corrupted by their own lifestyles that they think they have the right to do that.
I definitely don't disagree with you on that point. I just feel, for me, that part of the issue is that I don't want anyone to be forced to do anything that they don't want to do, because that is kind of like slavery, and it's 2015 now. Yes, she did sign up to do that job, but she didn't sign up to do it in the way that it is now. I'm not even defending her, but I'll tell you what I am defending.
Oh, my God. I've moved past her now. Sorry, I'm just on a world rant now. Couldn't care less about her.
Watch out, world. TP guys on a rant.
Yeah, absolutely. Let the silly woman sit down, you know. I mean, she thought, though, you watched the way she behaved, she thought she was going to use this to get a world stage, and unfortunately for her, she did, but it wasn't the stage she thought she was going to get. That's where this has all gone wrong for her. And you can see that in her attitude on that stage, the way she behaved. But I couldn't care less about her now. She's gone. Certainly, no, it shouldn't deserve hatred. Somebody should have sat her down and said, right, honey, this is how it is. Get over yourself and get a grip. But they didn't, you know.
Here's
the gay community's been doing this for a long time, haven't they? At the minute, we seem to be throwing this hatred out too quickly.
You're absolutely right. But here's the thing for me. I'm really going to kind of cause some wrath now, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you are an active member of the LGBTQ community, there is an element of brainwashing that goes on, and you are conditioned to think that if anybody disagrees with you in any way, shape, or form, that they're homophobic. And we buy into that. We've all bought into that. And to me, that's a worry, because there are some people out there that are totally anti-gay marriage but couldn't love Xander Gibb anymore. And so, but we have to be careful not to be in that mindset where we let any community leaders tell us how we think, because to me that's dangerous, you know.
Of course it is, but we do it, and this is the point. We keep letting other people lead. We've gone back to I don't understand what happened. In the last 10 years, we went from being so free-thinking, well, it seemed like we were so free-thinking and we were really moving on, and we were standing up to these leaders and saying, no, we're not being treated like this. And we've gone back to being sheep. We're all sitting at home going, oh, what can I do? The world's terrible. It's scary out there. Well, it always was bloody scary, but we were doing something about it. And now we've gone back to this bleating in a corner with our heads up our own arses. And it's absurd, and I don't understand how it's happened. You know, we have food banks in the 21st century. We have food banks in first world countries. We have children dying of starvation in first world countries. What happened? We got distracted again. Actually, is what happened. And here you and I are talking about this stupid woman in the town I can't even remember the name of. But again, you know.
I have just become very disillusioned with the LGBTQ ideology. I've fought for them for 25 years, and as soon as I disagree with any little thing, they turn their back on me, and that's fine. You know, I never set myself up to be a spokesperson for that community. As far as I was concerned, I've been working for equality for all, not just me and mine, because until we're all, you know, we're not free until we're all equal. And if we're just working for the equality within our own subsection of the community, what does that say about us? Shouldn't we be wanting equality for everybody, for women, for ethnic minorities, for everybody, you know?
Well, absolutely, equal means equal. But I think that's the point. The problem is, as a community, well, we're not a community, we're a nation. We need to stop calling ourselves a community. We're a global nation. That we have a lot of growing up to do, though.
Right.
So we have to kind of be patient. But of course, it doesn't mean that you and I have to sit and agree with everything that everybody says. But of course, they don't have to agree with everything we say. Well, of course they should, but but they don't have to. But we have a lot to learn, and this is the problem, I think, because we're growing so quickly, and all this power has come to us so quickly that we're not used to, because we've been so used to fighting, we're still fighting. But this is the problem, talking about following people like sheep. All our charities have been lying. I still think they're lying, and please, phone in, challenge me, because I'm telling you now, Stonewall, I'm talking about UK now, obviously, Terence Higgins, all these charities for years have been taking in money as charities and still saying, we're fighting against, there's no equality, people are being attacked on the street here, there and everywhere. It's not true. I know that obviously homophobia is still going on. We've still got a lot to fight for. But the way that these charities advertise and put themselves across, you would think that people are whimpering in corners in the middle of major cities. It's simply not true. But we're being steered by this. We're being governed by this. Pride is no longer what it should be about. It's about half-naked men simulating having sex on the street. That's not what Pride's about. Of course, it's about partying and saying, yeah, we're free, we're here, but that's not what it's about. But who got us there? How did we get led into that place that we are now, where everything's about drag and screaming queens? Why is it all about that? And there's nothing wrong with dragging a good screaming queen. Bring it on. But it seems to all be about that now. We've lost that point of relevance that should be in the middle, that should be in the core of all this. And so it's all a bit chaotic. And we've got to do something about that, and it's going to take time. And unfortunately, we're going to be hated when we point this out, because we sound like party poopers, or we sound
but I'm
like
not here
we're
to be
aggressively
liked.
attacking the gay community. So, that's...
I'm not here to be liked. I need to just ask you a technical question, Ty, because our guest is trying to Skype in. When you Skype in, you just call... Hello?
Hi, what?
Hi. Our guest is trying to Skype in, but for some reason can't get through. When you Skype, you just Skype with the number, don't you? 347-884-9061.
Yeah, and it takes you to the phone line, and the voice will ask you to hold,
Okay.
Yeah, and it should then just bring you to the queue, and then we can let him in,
Right, exactly so what I thought.
Yeah. But I just use the number. Or do I have a secret number? No, I don't.
I'm not sure, but we're clearly having problems. I'm keeping an eye on both being texted back and also him coming trying to come into the list. But an interesting point that Brenda made, she said in the chat about, did you ever notice that most of, if not all, non-believers were once believers? Do you think there's any merit to that, Ty?
I'll just reply to that. I was never a believer. My mother was asked not to bring me back to Sunday school at the age of 8 because I asked too many questions. So there you go. And that's absolutely true. I could not get my head around this ridiculous book. And when it was things like Noah, how can anybody believe it? Seriously. But, scientifically we know none of it's true. But I never believed. I've always been a pagan. I now, for anybody who wants to check me out, though, this is my weirdness. I follow the teachings of Abraham. If anybody wants to check out Abraham Hicks, a friend introduced me to her or them about 5 years ago. I've believed this since I was 8 years. Well, I've known that this was my belief since I was 8 years old. My friend introduced me to Abraham Hicks, and when I heard them speaking, I sat there in tears because they described my belief far more eloquently than I ever could. So I found a connection there. And so, yeah, never believed in God. I believe that we are the divine. We are consciousness. We created the universe because we wanted to experience ourselves in physical. So there you go. That's me. I don't think I've ever said that on the show before. The idea that we surrender ourselves to another force which makes us not responsible for ourselves is absurd to me. And it's the Catholic Church is a perfect example, isn't it? You can be a paedophile, a rapist, and a murderer as long as you're truly sorry at the end of your life. That's okay. You'll go to heaven. That to me sums up religion.
I've really never bought into the spiritual insurance policy. I mean, the Bible teaches that if you confess your sin and you're truly sorry and you repent, that you will be forgiven. And it's the teaching is that if you are a sinner, you will not inherit the kingdom of God. But using that as a spiritual insurance policy, it really is concerning because what is this ideology that if you have this deathbed confession that then you're going to go straight to hell? I mean, surely your works, the things that you've done, make a difference. Because otherwise, why don't we just crap all over everybody from a great height and treat everybody really badly, and then just when we know we're going to die, just say, "I'm sorry, God," because I don't believe that that's the ideology, really.
Well, but that's the point, though, isn't it?
I don't know, Joe. Sorry, go on.
No, you can't get last rites after you've died. You have to get them just before you've died. That's the big fear, you see. Catholics like, quick, get me the priest, I'm going. Because you cannot get the last rites after you've died, no. If you don't get them before, you're in limbo or you're in hell. That was my hell voice, by the way.
I've just worked out what the Skype thing is. I think maybe he doesn't have credit.
Oh, right, yes, you've got to, okay. Right, see, so Brenda, you can't, well, that's an interesting analogy, isn't it? People don't believe in the divine and heaven, but you can't have hell. Now, surely, you have to have hell to have heaven, because you cannot have light without dark. So, without light, there is no dark. Or is there? You see, this is all, it all gets very metaphysical. And Joe now is worrying. Yeah, so Joe, if you thought you can't have last rites before after you die, so make sure you've got that booked in, sweetie. Make sure you leave the church, honey, if you think you're going to pop quickly. Yes,
I'm here for your 5 o'clock booking for last rites, my dear.
She's going any minute, Captain. But you can be baptized as a Mormon 100 years after you've died because the Mormons are off their fucking heads. They were actually converting people on computers after they died. I was born into the Mormon Church, so you don't need to tell me anything about the Mormon Church. They're nuts. I was thrown out of the Mormon Church when I came out. That was fun.
I thought you said you were involved in the Mormon Church. Sorry.
Well, no, that came later. That's why I was thrown out. But so yeah.
Let's not go there today.
Yeah. But they had brought over a preacher from Salt Lake City, and he was the stereotypical guy, you know, the black hat, the long grey beard, and he was shouting across the church at everybody, telling everybody about God and whatever. And I was like, no, I can't take it. And I just stood and said, hello, I'm gay, and that was me escorted from the room. I was brought up with a mixture, and I'm friends with this vicar in the UK who knew me when I was very little, and then when I was a teenager, because he ran the local youth group, and I'm friends with him as an adult now. And he says, I remember when you were a kid, Xander, you only came at when we were giving stuff away. I was like, why is that so bad? Yeah, no,
I only turned up when they were giving away freebies. But I mean, look at what it's done. I'm an openly faith person, and I'm totally honest about it. But I think that not being forced into religiosity has made a difference to who I am today as an adult. Well,
is religiosity a word? Did you just make that up?
Yes, it is. Go and Google it right now.
No, I'll tell you words for it. I've just never heard it before. I'm impressed. And I'm not easily impressed. But that was very arrogant, but I'm not easily impressed.
Hey, I'm a writer. I'm an author. I'm a journalist. I'm a wordsmith.
Oh, my God, all in one word, darling. Just left it at writer.
Yeah.
You're going to get it all in one word, Mind you, having said that, I'm going to write
thing,
out my resume next week. And I haven't done that in a very long time. But my friend Emma's going to help me.
Wonderful. You know, the thing is for me.
I'm sorry, I'm reading all this in the chat room.
I know. I'm looking at it, and I'm just kind of like blown away. I have a problem with Christians that use the Bible to beat people over the head with, and you must do this way to go to heaven, and you must do this and you must do that. I can't subscribe to that. Faith is a very personal thing, and it's through, and it's between you and God, and it's not for anybody else to tell you what to think or what to believe or how you can attain God. I think it's one thing to tell people what you've experienced, but don't sell that as the only way, because I don't speak for God, and I don't necessarily think that the ministers of religion always speak for God. I think that we have to use our own perceptions of what people are saying, because I don't always think that what people are saying is really what they want to put across. Do you know what I mean? Hello? Did you put yourself on hold, Tyhe? I lost you.
No,
I think our guest is here, so...
All right.
Go on. I think our guest is here, so...
Cool.
Right.
Skype
it's fine. I'm going to bring him on. Our guest is here in the green room enjoying the virtual canapé. So let's bring him on without further ado. So Sal Kapczewski is a writer, stage and film director, and producer living in the UK. He is an alumni of the New York Film School and recently released his debut novella, Nazi Striper, published by Sleazy Viking Press. What a fabulous name. Now, an experienced writer, director, and cinematographer, he also directs the London Calling TV segment on my TV show Xandermonium TV, and he's also the director, writer, and producer of Spiderlings, and personally, I cannot wait to see the finished product. So without further ado, we've had lots of technical issues tonight. Please join me in welcoming to Xandermonium Radio the one, the only, Mr. Sal Kapczewski. Welcome to the show, Sal. How are you doing? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Hello? Is this Sal?
Hi, can you hear us?
Hello?
Hi, can you... Sal, can you hear us?
I don't know what is going on there. It sounds like someone's flushing the toilet. Are you there, Sal? Do we need to join hands and contact the living? Is there anybody there? Is it just me, Tyhe, or can you hear him?
No, I can
Hello?
hear. Hi, I think he's got his mic on, but not his headphones. Maybe.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. Maybe plugged in his headphones and not the microphone. I mean, the microphone and not the headphones is maybe what has happened. I don't think this is going to happen tonight, Xan. I think we're going to have to get him to call back.
I don't. Well, we won't cut you off, Sal. We heard you say hello, so we know we can get you. So we'll leave you on for a second. We'll leave you live and just see if we can hear you, but I don't know what's going on. No, Jeff is saying in messages that it's like he's being denied on this side. The Skype is working properly. He's through, but hello?
Yeah, but my Skype cut me off there, and I had to call you back. That's why I hadn't muted myself. It cut me off. I had to call back in. So I don't know.
Right. So maybe we're having Skype issues tonight, and there's no way we can actually call him from the studio, is there? Unfortunately.
No, it won't work. No, because then it won't do a two-way call. Sadly, we haven't got that set up that way. Skype won't let us do that. So
no. So let's carry on for a little bit. We'll leave him on, and if we can hear him, he can shout and say, "I'm here." Hi, this is Sal, or whatever. So let's.
He's still there. I can hear him. I can hear him breathing.
You can hear him what?
I can hear him breathing. Oh, he's
yeah,
gone.
I'm getting kind of like.
No?
Yeah, he's still there.
Right, let's start talking because somebody's going to tune in now and think they're getting a rerun of War of the Worlds or something. So
yeah. No one would have believed that in the last years of the 19th century that human affairs were being watched and scrutinized
right, stop.
like a nun with a microscope. All right. I'm over it. Yeah. So Kathy says she doesn't like people using God's name when they are spreading hate to anyone. I couldn't agree more. You can just say that in the chat room. Say, I like chocolate when I'm spreading anything. Okay, right. Moving swiftly on. So I want to move the tack a little bit. I want to just have something kind of funny to end on. I just want to talk a little bit about this. Did you see this week that Kim Kardashian had this issue going on this week? Her daughter North apparently posted a major throwback picture of her on social media. North, a.k.a. Nani, who's like 2 years old, was playing on the phone before accidentally, in parentheses, posting a picture of her mom in a bikini, allegedly. Kim deleted the original, but uploaded the photo again, detailing what had happened. Now, I'm not sure I believe this version of events. What about you? Do you think a 2-year-old can choose a picture and put it on Skype? I mean, I don't know.
Oh, Brenda's been holding on the phone apparently. Have you just made that up? I think it's highly unlikely that a 2-year-old has been messing around with your phone and decided to go into your phone, choose a picture of mother in her bikini, and then tweeting it live. I'm not buying that at all. Brenda, if that was true, call back in and we will get you on this one right now. We will have you on this show right now live because I have never spoken to you, lady. Call back in immediately. So, no, I'm not buying it that a
can you hear?
I
can hear it. I can hear a toilet flushing.
No, that's not a toilet flushing. That's somebody chewing. I don't know what this man is up to.
I don't. Well, we're going to have to... I don't know. Maybe what we should do is we're going to have to reschedule. And apparently his mic is turned up and stuff, but we can't hear him.
I think what he's done...
He's gone. He's gone now.
Right. I think what
we're going to have to
done,
do a... Go on.
I think what he has done, if he has... I think what he's done is plug... Maybe if he has a two-jack headphones, he's plugged the mic in and not the headphones, so he can speak, but he can't hear us.
Right.
So I think that's what's happened. Oh, here we go.
All right, we have a caller. You're live on Xandermonium. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Brenda.
Hi, Brenda. How you doing? You got having technical problems tonight. How's it going up there in Canada, and what do you want to share with us?
Oh well, I had to call in because you're talking about God. I thought you guys would expect my call.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, right. Bring it on, Brenda. See, if I'd known this was going to happen, Brenda, I would have had a glass of wine ready, chilled.
I did. That's why I'm laughing. I did. That's why I'm laughing.
Okay.
Anyway, listen, I love both you guys so much, but Tyhe, you crack me up because you do. You crack me up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In a good way. You crack me up in a good way. The thing about God is that like there's a whole bunch of religions and a whole bunch of different churches, and I agree with you on a lot of points. Like there's, people in some churches, it's like a cult, and they go way above and beyond ridiculous, you know what I mean, and trying to push people into believing things. Like I believe in God, but I don't push it on anybody. Because I think that's the wrong way to do it, Like, the more you push things on people, the more they're going to reject it, right?
Absolutely.
Like, what I do is if somebody is in need or something and I think that they need, like, to hear that, then I'll offer it. But I just don't do it all the time. Like, I don't, talk about it all the time and push it on anybody. I have a lot of friends that don't believe in God, and that's good, too. It's...
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's great, Brenda. People, it's because I've said before, and I say that over here as well. By the way, I don't run around the streets ranting at people, but I think there's a difference. See, I would say you have faith, and I think there's a difference between faith and religion.
Right.
It's religion that I actively
Oh wait, who
dislike,
said that earlier in
you
the
will.
show?
Well, no, I said that earlier. So.
No, I said that earlier in the show.
No, hey, bro, listen, you keep your own lines, Xander, right? I'll have you write your own scripts. Anyway.
Stop stealing my lines, Ty.
Yeah, just lie down while I have a chat with Brenda, okay?
I do believe religion is different than faith, though. You're right. It is different.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem. I think people have faith. People who have faith, generally speaking, are really lovely people who live by that code and don't want to hurt other people, want to live in peace, want to live in harmony, and want to share life with people, and that's fantastic, and you will always be welcome and safe and loved in my company. But people with religion who are doing exactly what you've just spoken about there and what we've been talking about, who spread that hatred, spread that anger, and use it as fear, they're the people that actually need to be afraid of me, because I will fight back. And that's the thing that I lash out against and shout at. But that's that Bible that they use. That's not a book that was written 2,000 years ago. That's not a man who was speaking to people about love and peace. That book that people use now is a completely different book to that one that was written 2,000 years ago. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was talking about earlier. These people
but you notice that
lies hate now are not the same people.
A lot of churches have their own Bible too, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like the Book of Mormon. The Mormons have the Book of Mormon. Like, I mean,
they
don't even believe that Jesus was God's son. They think he was just a man.
Yeah,
so there's all different kinds of.
Yeah, but I was born into the Mormon church. Okay, so I have no option. And trust me, these people are strange. But their church was built. I mean, they don't really like to talk too much about their history. Because the Mormon Church, if you go back and really read their history, it was born on blood and lies, as most churches are.
For sure. And we must apologize to our Mormon listeners out there.
I'm not apologizing.
Yeah, we're not saying it's bad. We're just saying that we're not saying it's bad. We're just talking about different religions and what they believe, and how so many people can get the same different meanings from the same book. You know, it's like I remember when you were young and you.
That's what.
Go ahead.
Can I just say that's what Brenda and Xander is saying. I'm saying you're all nuts. Religions I'm talking about. Brenda and Xander are very lovely, people.
But just as you expect your beliefs to be tolerated, because I know you have your own set of beliefs, I think that we all need to we need to agree to disagree, really. I mean, I don't know when it got to this epic proportion that we all have to agree on everything or else, or it's all or nothing. I mean, it's like being back in kindergarten. If you're friends with Freddie, you can't be friends with me.
But exactly. But who brought us to that place? This is my argument. Religion brought us to that place.
I don't know.
Oh, come on! You can't blame religion for the all the actions of people. Like there's just people that are just like that. Like they might not even be a believer or anything. Religion, people use religion as an excuse to do bad things, and that's wrong.
Exactly, that's not exactly, Brenda. That's my argument. That's religion. That's not faith. Because look at the Catholic Church. It's founded on. It's for a start, the first self-ordained Pope, Peter, he by their own story, by their own book, denounced his own God 3 times out of cowardice, told by Christ he would do it. He disappeared. He went away for a while, came back and went, hey, I've had this great idea, founded the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church has done nothing but hide the truth, hide education, slaughtered people.
And molest children.
And molest children for 2,000 years. And
but you know why that happens though? Because that's one of the points I like to say, because it's like they say that in the Catholic Church they say that the priest can't marry and serve God. But God obviously made everybody human, so you have human feelings. I mean, everybody has sexual feelings. You can't just turn that off. So what happens?
But
they say, well, they get married. But no, wait, they have these sexual feelings, that's where the other thing comes in of molesting. Like, you know what I mean? Like the molestation in
But
the
they
Catholic
could-
Church and stuff.
But they used
Go ahead.
to be able to get married. They used to be able to get married. They changed it. They change things all the time. This is the other point, Brenda, I make about the book. They change
do you know why
things
it was?
to suit themselves.
Do you know why it was? This is how greedy and ridiculous it is. Because back in olden days, the priest owned the church, owned the land that the church was on, and so if they were married when the priest died, the land went to the wife, which meant the church lost the land. So that's why they stopped priests from getting married.
Yeah.
It was a greed issue, and to me that is just kind of astounding that the Catholic Church has done that, and expect people to forget it.
But the Vatican is a building full of stolen artifacts. Everything in the Vatican has been stolen from other countries. And also, you've got to remember as well, the reason why was Rome not bombed during the Second World War? The Vatican never spoke out once about the Holocaust, not once. It turned its back on 6 million people and said nothing.
And we're surprised by that.
Yeah. Before I go, I have.
Sorry, Brenda.
I have a little. Can I tell you a fast little story?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have to be very quick because we're so over time.
I'll get
but
quick.
go on,
It's
fire
just
away.
funny. It's just funny. Okay. When my kids were young, I have cousins and everything that are in the Mormon religion, and my mom is in it too. So my mom was coming over for dinner, and in the Mormon religion, they don't like you to say God, like, oh God, because they say that's using his name in vain, or Jesus Christ or whatever. So my mom came over to dinner. So before she came, I told my kids, they were young, and my son was only 5 and my daughter was like 9 or something. And I said, okay, you guys, Grandma's coming over, don't say oh God or don't say Jesus Christ, or whatever, just try to be polite. So we're all sitting at the dinner table, and my son dropped something off of the table. I think it was like his favorite piece of chicken or something anyway. And he leans over sideways and he goes, Jesus Christ. And then he looks up really slow at my mom, of Latter-day Saints. That's a true story. It was so funny. Like he's only 5. He's only 5, and he did that. And my husband and I just bursted out. We couldn't even help it. It was just so funny. Anyway, That's my funny story for today.
That's a very great point to end on. Thanks so much for calling us, Brenda. I hope you'll call again and come to the chat room at the beginning of the show next time, so you can you can join in because we miss you.
You can keep me quiet. Okay. It's so lovely to speak to you again. Yeah.
I will next time. I love you guys.
All right.
Take
Have
care.
a great weekend and give your granddaughter a big hug from us, Brenda, won't you?
I will. Okay. Bye-bye.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.
That was the fabulous Brenda from Canada. It was great to hear from her. We've gone so much over time, Tyhe. We gotta close now.
I know, but that was so lovely to speak to Brenda again. That was so
It was. I love Brenda. Brenda is fabulous. She's one of my favorite friends. My brain has just gone. Sorry about all the technical problems today. I don't know what the problem was with Skype. I know. We will get to the bottom of it.
It's like nearly. Have we been on? How long have we been on? Nearly an hour and a half.
An hour and 20 minutes. But we're going to go now. We're gonna play out. I just have a few announcements before we go. Thanks to everyone involved in today's show. Thanks to Tyhe. Thanks to Kathy and everybody that's in the chat room. Thanks to Brenda for calling in. Thanks for being in the chat. Thanks to the guests. Thanks to Miss Pretty. Thanks to all of the other people that were in chat but have now left because they got bored with
thank you to Mitch.
the religion.
Hopefully
yes,
we'll have Mitch
Mitch,
on the
we
show
will be replying
to
you. We absolutely will. We will endeavor to get Salam Kapsaski back on the show, even if we have to do a pre-record. Don't forget to check out my TV show, Xandermonium TV, episode 2.4 on Fridays on channel 192 on Charter, and it's simulcast on xandergibb.com for all of you that don't get Charter. I'm out of breath now, and I'm craving pizza, and I need a beer. Anything you want to share before we go, Tyhe?
There is, yes. Don't you dare go near that pizza, boy.
It's gluten-free, and it's homemade. It's gluten-free, it's homemade, and it's got organic cheese.
Well, I'll tell you what you can do with it. You can look at it and think, you can lick it, and then you can throw it in the bin. I don't have anything to share.
That's for a different show.
Yeah, whatever. Just leave it.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Does it matter what happens at the end of this show now? Whoever listens to this show is going to be lying down somewhere thinking, I'm going to run it back and listen to it again, stoned, because God knows what people are going to think of this particular show. This particular episode should be given a very special title. But no, I've got nothing to. I'm just still writing and doing and whatever, blah, blah. So.
And you'll be back with us in 2 weeks.
I'll be back with you in 2 weeks, yes.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go away and do a talking head, haven't I?
Yes, you do. Ty's got to go and do something for the TV show. But thank you all for listening today. It's been a pleasure. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love, it has been good to me this